God. We have to make sure that we understand what our plight is today as we live our life on this earth to give back. It's funny that I have to stand here today after all the hardships and the things that I've been able to go through and endure, and still seeing that God chose me to be a part of young people's lives. Me, I wasn't the best basketball player, wasn't the fastest, tallest, but I just loved to compete. And that started from my parents. I just want to give a shout out to two significant people in my life today that's here today that surprised me being here. Larry Monroe was my baseball coach, and he's considered the first governor of the AAU program. And Larry taught us life skills through baseball. And I'm grateful to you, Money, for all that you've given me when I was that young boy trying to find my way. So wherever you are, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, over there. Hey, over there.
I just want to give another thanks to, growing up, I'm a Sandtown kid. I grew up in Sandtown and West Baltimore, Forest Park and Park Heights. And, the streets pretty much raised us growing up. And I looked up to a guy that was very tough in the streets, and I was just a baby. And I just want to thank you, Arnold Mitchell, because you've been one of the best martial arts guys in the world. And I appreciate you and all that you've done for me growing up. The title and the theme of this message is Your Life is Bigger Than You. Young people, please listen to this. Because I think sometimes we individualize ourselves and think it's all about us, but it's not. Your life is bigger than you. As you can see, I celebrated people that were before me, who have put me in a position to be here today. So as you can see, if it wasn't for them two and many others that impacted my life, I wouldn't be a Harlem Globetrotter. I wouldn't be traveling anywhere. I wouldn't be doing the things to help young people. But I have to give all the credit in the world to my parents. My mother was a nurturer. She was big on education. And my father was a military man. Marine, Vietnam vet. Everything was about discipline. Everything was about the fundamentals of life. What he did for me changed my life at a young age. I was 5 years old, and I'll never forget it. He put a baseball in my hand. He put a football in my hand. He put boxing gloves in my hand. And he put a basketball in my hand. And he said, son, sports is the closest thing to life. Because you win, you lose, you learn how to work together, you learn how to make other people better, you learn work habits. So for me, at that little tender age of 5, he tricked me again. He gave me basketball magazines and football magazines and a sports almanac to study about the people that did it before me. He said you have to honor the forefathers and the foresisters because they put a lot in for you to be here today. So if you want to play these sports, you need to honor the people that did it before you. So I always said that I was going to take credit to honor folk, no matter what the situation was. So I'm going to go back to the theme. Your life is bigger than you. We have to understand that, those principles. I'm not going to be long, but I want to share a couple other things that changed my life through my dad. If you notice, I keep talking about my dad. Man's man. I've been all over the world, but my father just means so much to me because he had the patience to deal with my nonsense. You know, he didn't talk at me, he talked to me. And that's what we got to start understanding about our children. We keep trying to live our dreams through our children, and our children have their own quest that God has for them.
That's right.
And whatever mistakes you made as a young person and as an adult, always put in them how they can be better, not living through them. Because sometimes we stunt their growth, because they could be something else. My father always said, read, be intelligent. Knowledge is power. Don't listen to everybody that's on the street corner telling you this and that. They don't know no more than you. So please, surround yourself with people that know more than you, and humble yourself to receive. Says, son, listening is the #1 skill. If you can listen well, you can do everything else in your life and be prosperous. So I can sit with older folk and listen to them for 6 hours. If you want to talk to me for 15 hours, I want to know what you went through. Young people, you all look at LeBron James, and you look at Tiger Woods, and you look at all these phenomenal athletes, from Larry Bird, you name it. But it's something that they had to go through to become who they are. I'm always concerned about the journey, not about the result. What did you go through to be great? Because it's a lot of hardships. As we see this wonderful banquet, the committee had to go through a lot to make sure this banquet was a success. So I'm going to give you 2 things that changed my life. And young people, I know y'all faced with this in your sport. When I was 12 years old, I played for Forest Park Little League. And I was the pitcher, and I played second base. And I was one of the best pitchers on that team. And I never forget, it was an 11, 12-year-old season. It's called the Major League. You see Little League Baseball, they had the Little League World Series. And I was the only 11-year-old on the 11-12 All-Star team. And we went to the championship, and we won the championship, and we did big things in Baltimore. Then we went out to the States, and we were 2 games away from going to the Little League World Series. So the next year, my father, we had a new coach, and my father changed the schedule from 3 to 11, so he wasn't at the games, and he wasn't with me, just teaching me like he would like it. And I never forget it, we had a new coach named Mr. Pitts, and he said, son, what are you doing? And I was like, what do you mean, sir? He said, you're making it all about you. So I paid him no mind, because I'm a superstar. I'm an all-star. So we were 0-13 the first half of the year. I come home, I get to complaining to my dad, talking about, man, they got nerve, I'm the champion, I'm this, I'm that. How you gonna tell me what to do? You gotta get these kids, they not playing the way they supposed to play. My father got a great ability to let you vent, get it all out. And then he lets me know. He says, son, have you lost your mind? He said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go back to Mr. Pitts, and you're going to apologize to him. And you're going to say that you apologize for making it about me. And then you're going to take your guys and say that we're going to stay after practice and work with the guys that needs improvement. And you're going to be a true leader. And you said you take that responsibility on. And this is the truest of the story. And it's helped me to this day. The second half of the year, we won the second half. We won the championship. We went on to the All-Stars, and we were 1 game away from the Little League World Series. If I didn't listen to my dad, and I didn't take it all the way in and apply it, I would be a selfish kid, and then I would become a selfish adult. The second thing that changed my life, I was playing Little League football that same year at Tawanda. I played for Parkview for a coach named Mr. Pack and Mr. Sun. And Parkview is up there off of Ricerstown and Gwynn, a little down the street from White Rock. And we played in a league called Tawanda, and I was the quarterback. And we ran through everybody. But then in the last game, we played against J.D. Gross. And I had led the league in touchdowns, and I was feeling myself a little bit once again. And they crushed me. J.D. Gross, they were stomping me, slamming me on my head, doing everything to me. And I never forget, I cut my hand, and Mr. Pack said, we're going to put you at wide receiver. We're going to utilize your speed. I went on, I played wide receiver, and we wound up losing 6-0. Every time I think about this, I get filled up because I thank my dad. We get in the car, we're riding down Ricerstown Road, and he pulls over at that McDonald's, Cold Spring. And he says, son, this is the hardest conversation I'm going to have with you. But this conversation is going to change your life. It's going to make or break you. He says, son, you got scared and you quit. You quit on yourself and you quit on your teammates. Because I never wanted to let my dad down. I always think about it. So I went to the room, came out that room, and I grabbed my father by his face and said, Dad, I will never quit ever again. And I'll take full responsibility, and it'll always be on me no matter whether we win or lose. It's going to be on me. So for that, I'm never going to quit. So that's helped me to be where I am today because I've been through a lot. I fell on my face. I've struggled. But I say to you young people, don't make excuses to fail. There's no such thing as blaming the coach. You change the coach's mind by your effort, your attitude, and your ability to make others better. Me and Keon were talking, and by the way, I just want to congratulate you, little bro, for your governor award. God doing big things. We trained together when we were trying to go pro. So Keon, I appreciate you, brother. We were just talking about, he spoke at the clinic we had. And he was just telling the kids how hard it is to make it to the next level. And what you have to go through to separate yourself. So young people, in closing, because I know we have a long event, make sure you have a plan and understand what your purpose is in your plan. Never get distracted in your plan. Make a sacrifice. If your friends want to do something else, you tell them, I'll be there in a minute. I have to get those extra push-ups in or those extra reps, no matter what it is that you're doing. Then be committed to your plan. No matter what, have a plan of action and execute. Write it down. Surround yourself with people that know what they're talking about. And one of the things that, as you looked at the story that I gave, know how to channel your fear. We all become nervous and afraid. But face it head on. And understand that once you face it head on, you'll know how to handle that adversity and overcome it. You'd be surprised how great you will become through your fear. And no matter what the situation is, always do your best. Please do your best. You never know who's watching. How I became a Harlem Globetrotter, I did not know the person that was in the stands watching. It's the work that you do when nobody's looking that creates greatness. So I close out with our 4L philosophy. And it's funny that Mr. Jeremy, kept quoting. You gotta love what you do. I love people. I love kids. I love sports. It's been too good to. So always have a passion for what you love. Be dedicated. Then learn what you love. Be a student of it. Have to study the game. Everything is mental. The physical part of it, as you get older, start diminish you. But when you have the mental aspect of life, you always push forward. And now you love, you learn, now you live it. Now it's game time. You study for the test academically. You prepared yourself. Now you know you're going to ace that test. And the true test is the test of life. In closing, everybody see you now because you're doing good things. Now you lead. So now you're a leader. You're an example set. So I want to thank everybody for sharing with me, and I hope you all take this message. Your life is bigger than you. I love you all. Enjoy the ceremony. To all that won trophies today, remember this, the trophy is you. You're the trophy. Doesn't matter if you get the reward or not. Be gracious in your loss and in your gains. I thank you all. You have a good evening, and I appreciate it.